Hello guys and welcome back to another Dazod 500 video. In this video, we're going to be ranking every single Mario Kart track in the mainline games. This time, we're going to be ranking from 140 to 121. So, let's stop talking and let's get into our first track of the episode. 140 NS Wii Moonview Highway. This is only lower than 139 Wii Moonview Highway, simply because I don't like the addition of lanes. And you may think, okay, yeah, well, there's the same amount of lanes, but in Wii, it's kind of easier to manage. I know I kind of sound kind of weird right now, but trust me, I know it's probably the same amount of lanes, but it's just easier to control in Wii, and they scaled it too much, in my opinion, that it's lower. But that isn't a bad thing because I still am a big fan of traffic courses, no matter what you may want to say. 138. We Dry Ruins. Now, Dry Ruins gets a lot of hate, and it's not really, necessary hate. It's a decent track. I mean, obviously, I'm not going out to conventions to play Dry Ruins, but people just dunk on it for being a desert track, which obviously is not a good enough reason. How about we talk about the fact that we go inside a ruins and every single lap it gets filled with more and more sand. Now, obviously, the track is a little bit short, especially for a Special Cup track, but I don't think that should halt it from me putting it into the top 140. 137. We DS Peach Gardens. Perfectly aligned with 136 DS Peach Gardens. The reason why Peach Gardens is here is because it is a very, very peaceful track that gets my mind mostly off of anything negative, mostly. And you know, also the layout, also that's a big stuff. Layout, the maze is cool, but the reason why it's so low down is yes, it's peaceful, but it's a little bit too peaceful. So that's why I have to put it here. Sorry. 135. GBA Ribbon Road. Not the best track from the Game Boy Advance, but certainly it is up there. I mean, how could we seriously argue against GBA Ribbon Road deserving to be high up? Ribbon Road is more than just a mediocre track. It's a very interesting idea on Mode 7, but again, it just falls short, mostly due to Mode 7. 134. GCN Mushroom Bridge. Undoubtedly the worst of the mushroom tracks from Mario Kart Double Dash, but Mushroom Bridge obviously is cool because of the bridge. I get it. I know it's a traffic course. I get it. But can we talk about the fact that the layout is almost an oval? Yeah, like it isn't the best layout, but of course the bridge, the pipe at the beginning that probably a lot of people don't know about, and the sidewalk bring it up to 134. 133. GBA Lakeside Park. This is my second favorite GBA track, I think, and Lakeside Park, it gets too much hate. Let's be honest. It's a very, very cool track. The first track of the Special Cup, of course, but it is way more significant than that because Lakeside Park, it makes me feel isolated. And if you have watched the rest of the videos, you know that I do like isolation and feeling like I'm in a faraway land. Also, it does feel like the dinosaur times, which is a massive, massive bonus. And I do wish it came back for the Marketed Deluxe Booster Course Pass, but no, we have to have Daisy Circuit. 132. NSGBA Snowland. Now, I am not complaining about this track's inclusion. Many people were, and at the time I was complaining because, Snowland over Sunset Wilds. Are you kidding me? It's the middle of July in Canada, and you're going to want me to play snow. That's basically how I felt. Now, I don't really care. It's a good track. I do like the additional shortcuts, although there was a shortcut back then that I made a video about that wasn't included, which drops it definitely a couple places, but GBA Snowland can only be so high on a ranking anyways. 131. 3DS DK Pass. Yeah, the layout is cool and I do like snowy mountains, but again, not that great overall, which is why 130 DSDK Pass overtakes it. Those turns are definitely made for snaking. They're not made for regular drifting, which is why DS gets the bare edge. But again, I like snow lead tracks, but I I just not feeling DK Pass for some reason. Maybe because of its short length. 129. Wii Wario's Gold Mine. Wii's Wario's Gold Mine, people hate it too much. This is really a polarizing track. It's either you are one of the best Wario's Gold Mine players, therefore you love it, or you're one of the worst, therefore you hate it. I put it right in the middle because sometimes I fall off in the middle, sometimes I don't, but it's more towards the top because I think the concept of it is cool. Just like NS, Wii Wario's Gold Mine, which is what I put 128th. It's a decent track in itself, but just too much, reused. If it was a little bit different, all right. And they did take away that cool little mine cart thing you can do if you go backwards, which kind of bums out, but doesn't really matter anyways. 127 NS Tour Bangkok Rush. I sound like this because it is the most boring track ever. It is almost dead center in the middle. It's just like, what do you want me to say, man? What do you want me to say? Because Bangkok Rush, sure, yeah, fun in the second lap, but the other ones are pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. Now, I know you guys are gonna roast me for this, but 126 NS Ice Ice Outpost. Yes, I like Ice Ice Outpost. Please do not hurt me. Why do people not like it? I actually cannot tell you because I've never understood the hate for Ice Ice Outpost. It's literally just like one of those other tracks where you can go in between paths. It's a really really cool track. You switch between paths. I already said that, didn't I? You fly. There's a lot of shortcuts and there's anti gravity. It's really anything you can ask for, but people choose to hate it. And it's not like it even has ice physics. So I have no clue why this track is ranked near the bottom on every single, you know, almost ranking. I can understand why it's not number one, but definitely not 264. 125. Tour Sydney Sprint. Yeah, Sydney Sprint. I've never understood the hype for. I literally have never. Like, people are going up in arms about Sydney Sprint. I'm like, why? And I don't get an answer. It's like, oh, it's so cool. No, I don't understand the hype for Sydney Sprint. Sure, it's not a horrible city track, but the best? Hell no. Please get out of my face. 124. NS Tour Piranha Plant Cove. Piranha Plant Cove is actually a very, very, very interesting track, but it's just too long. Yes, I know I've been complaining about lengths, but this is a very good Ruins track and a very good Discovery track, but it's just too long for me to enjoy. I'm sorry, it's a good track, but not so high. 123. NSN64 Choco Mountain. Yeah, well, I mean, they kind of did take out almost all of the fun of Choco Mountain. They shortened the track to like a couple of seconds, and they did make my favorite part of the track, which was that little turn with the boulders, less severe, and that makes me hurt. 122. DS Choco Mountain. N64 Choco Mountain was a good track, but DS Choco Mountain just all it did was essentially dumb it down. And sure, they basically added nothing, but the lack of additions of tricking and the lack of additions of, drifting definitely hurts DS over the original version, which got around these key issues. 121 N64 Choco Choco Mountain. Not a horrible track in its own right, but I do think it could have been better. Of course, the track is long, and I do like the length, but the layout is a bit it's either a straight or it's a turn. If there was a little bit more stuff in there to make it more interesting, I think that would be very, very interesting. But obviously, they didn't do that. They ended up going with this, and because of that, 121st. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And with that being said, peace.